kind of abuse is really difficult because it's all words, there's no physical evidence. So it was really difficult to do anything because it's like until something happens, we can't do anything. My mum lost her life to her abuser, my dad, 12 years ago yesterday.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Hayward and Stuff. This is the podcast where I record sporadically when I've got time and space in my head. And today I am joined in the studio with Adam Ashworth. Is that how you say your last name?
That's how most people say it.
How do you say?
I say Ashworth. A lot of people, especially at school, it was like Ashford, I don't know. It was lots of things, but it's Ashworth, yeah.
I've been called not only Hayward, but Headwin, Headmond, and Wayward a lot. I get a mix.
Headmond, that's quite a deviation.
So, growing up in Spain, the Spanish can't say Hayward. They struggle.
Hayward.
Edmund. But this isn't about me.
Yeah.
This is about you. It's 2026, and you have this project that you're working on. I would love for you to unpack the project. Tell me what it is. Who's it for?
Right. So it was a few weeks ago. Some friends and I made these, which are some little butterflies, and we made 500 of them. That's a lot. To sell and raise some money for a charity called Refuge. Refuge is a charity that they have a landline, but also have actual like refuges, safe houses, or whatever, and it's for women and their children who find themselves a victim of domestic abuse. And yeah, Refuge offer a helpline to those women and also safe spaces where they can go to if they need to. And I chose Refuge because my mum lost her life to her abuser, my dad, and 12 years ago yesterday. And this whole project started out 2 years ago for the 10th anniversary because it was 10th anniversary approaching and I wanted something positive to dwell on, not the fact it was the 10th anniversary. So I thought, what could I do? Raise some money for Refuge. So 2 years ago we forged some little poppies, and I wasn't expecting that really to go anywhere. I just thought, we'll just make a few and they'll just slowly sell over a few weeks. But the reception to that was phenomenal. We sold out in like 24 hours. We didn't make a huge amount. I think it was about 200. But yeah, we sold, I think, 150 of those in 24 hours. And 2 years down the road, I felt like it was about time to try something again. And so we made some butterflies. So the reasons why we chose poppies in the first place was because my mum was a real keen gardener. Like, she was chairwoman of Garth from Bloom, which I don't know if you have in Bloom groups here. I don't think it's an international thing, but basically it's a bunch of people who get together and think, how can we make our town pretty? So we like put plants in wherever, really. And yeah, they really take pride in the hometown to just make it a bit nicer. And yeah, she was the chair of that. And yeah, poppies were her favourite thing. Everything at home was poppy themed. It was mad. So yeah, she really liked poppies, sorry. And then this year we chose butterflies because, again, she liked butterflies, but more importantly, so back in 2014, she started the process of divorcing my dad, and the wheels started getting in motion, and everything was changing, and there was so much potential ahead of her, and she was getting quite excited, and she was like, I feel like a butterfly coming out my cocoon, because she'd spent 20 odd years married to my dad, and I think it took her that long to realise that her life shouldn't have been like that.
Freedom was on the horizon.
Exactly. And I think it was that little taste of that made her feel, yeah, as I said, like she was a butterfly coming out of the cocoon.
So how old were you when when it happened?
Yeah,
When your father?
I was.
It's funny how it's difficult to say the words of it.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sure you get that a lot where people skirt around actually saying the words of what happened. But anyway, sorry.
Yeah. Well, normally, this is something that I don't talk about. Normally, we say when the house burnt down, because after he killed her, he set the house on fire. So it was.
So that's the way of saying it without saying it.
Yeah, exactly.
Interesting.
Yeah, I was 16, and it was 2 weeks before my GCSEs. So, which I did well in.
Well done.
Shall let you know.
Well done.
I do remember. I went the day after it happened. I went back to school because my worry was that none of my friends knew if I was okay, or no one really knew anything. So I was like, I'm going back to school so I can see my friends.
Yeah.
I think really I wanted to see my friends for my own comfort, but my excuse was so they knew I was okay. And I remember saying to my head of year, because when my mum had started going through her divorce, my dad, about a month before he killed her, I won't say feigned a suicide, I had a failed suicide attempt. And that led to him being sectioned for a month, no, 2 weeks. And when that happened, my GCSEs were happening. It was getting a bit stressed, and I started having a conversation with a counsellor at school and my head of year. And my head of year mentioned that that I could maybe get special dispensation or whatever it's called. Basically, they set the bar a bit lower for your exams.
Yeah.
And I remember the day after, it happened, and I went in and I said to my head of year, like, do I get that though? And she's like, yeah, I think you might do. Because, obviously I'd had none of my revision materials available to me anymore. But,
So I'm guessing leading up to the night that the house burnt down, it wasn't the most pleasant experience growing up with your dad. Did you live in the same house?
I think the reason why it took Mum 20 odd years to get round to divorcing him, I think, as I say, it was just small behavioural things that he did. It wasn't like he was never physical with her. It was all mental.
Yeah, because you would assume that it was an abusive, physically abusive environment.
So it wasn't that. He was mentally abusive to her, and it was just constant little things, maybe sometimes big, that, I think maybe they started little and then they got bigger. And like, what my grandma always says is that they'd say, oh, that's just Martin being Martin. And I think it's just, you get acclimatized to it. So, that is why, as I said, it took her so long to leave him. There was inquiry into it, and I think as part of that inquiry, we had to make a list of the things that he did as evidence for the inquiry. What went wrong? How could it have been prevented? So it was in a courthouse. There was a judge who proceeded over it, but there's no guilty party summoned. There's no accused. That's it. There may be people found guilty of malpractice or whatever.
But they still have to go through the process.
Yeah, because, for example, police were involved before Mum died. Because, as I said, he was sectioned and then he was released, and he didn't necessarily have to come home. This is where it was confusing. So, this is 12 years ago that I'm remembering this from. And I was also 16 and not really involved in this. But, when he was released, he needed somewhere to go. And it's like they both owned the house. So who gets rights over staying there? They shouldn't stay together, blah, blah, blah. But it was like, he'd not been violent to her before, so it should be fine. And then the police were talked to, because like my mum went to... Mum went to Women's Aid, and I think the police to get advice. And I think at one point some police officers came over to talk to her to get some advice. And I remember now, this kind of abuse is really difficult because it's all words. There's no physical evidence. So it was really difficult to say, to do anything, because it's like, until something happens, we can't do anything. So it's that kind of thing in inquiry where they're like, oh, we can see that the police did contact you. Let's see if the police could have done more or whatever.
Which is all the more reason why charities like Refuge, which open up awareness around domestic abuse, is so important, right?
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of nuance to domestic abuse.
Yeah.
It's not just bruises and broken bones that
Yeah.
can lead to like the worst case scenario.
Yeah. When someone says abuse, your mind instantly goes to, he gets drunk and they get drunk. It's typically men, I believe. Abusers,
But absolutely,
anyone
women.
can be an abuser, but largely it's against women by men. And your mind goes to, smacking them about.
Drunk husband beats his wife.
There's a whole range of abuse, such as mental, financial. The list will probably go on. I've not looked.
Financial's a big one, right? Like you get people controlling their partner financially, and then they're trapped in a financial capacity, but psychologically they're trapped as well.
Yeah. So I think it's pays to be aware of this, and I think it can also be as an observer, but also maybe a victim of this. As I said, Mum was married to him for a lot of years and didn't realise until a long while into it that it's like, this isn't right.
Was he your biological father, or what he was? So I'm assuming that you were the victim of abuse on some levels as well, right? Or was it aimed more at your
in
mum?
a sense,
Not to dilute what happened to your mum, but it's another layer.
Had to suffer it as well, and I think it was just a case of dad being dad. Is what I'd say. It's.
I mean, I've openly spoke about my childhood and how, my mother, she had a bit of a drink problem, and she, not to the same degree, I'm sure, but she was emotionally neglectful. And when I was a teenager, I'd say she was emotionally manipulative. And it's only when I look back on it when I'm like, oh yeah, that fucked me up quite a bit. I've had to unpack quite a lot of stuff. When your father killed your mother, I'm finding the bravery to say the words, right? But I want to, because it's what's happened. Anyway, at what point after a life-changing event like that are you able to process and unpack and then even talk about it with the awareness that everybody deals with things differently, right?
Yeah. Well, I think it took me about 10 years.
Right.
For the longest time, I just ignored it. And it's funny. It's
a classic one.
Yeah. It was like, once I got to uni and there was new people there, as we talked about earlier off camera, it's difficult to broach that subject with people. It's like, just how do you say to someone, oh yeah, my dad killed my mum and set my house on fire? How do you talk about that? Most of the time, and then whenever I did mention that to people, it was always really awkward conversations.
It's not something many people
it's
ever...
not an easy conversation.
Yeah, not only is it something that not many people have experienced firsthand, but even met someone that's experienced it firsthand.
Yeah, exactly. So, and I don't blame people for not really knowing how to... It's like,
I guess
you
not.
don't want someone to get awkward and uncomfortable, but that's just the natural response when someone tells you something as weird as... Not weird, but you know what I mean.
That.
So, I think for the longest time, once I got to uni, 'cause, at school, everyone knew. And then after that, uni, didn't talk. And then I've got into this green woodworking world. And again, no one there knew. So I just kind of just got on with it. But, as I said, it was the 10th anniversary. And I wanted something positive for us all to think about. So, I decided to sort of like bite the bullet and just
because you want
it out there.
Yeah, because I feel like I get what you're saying. Like you still want to be able to celebrate your mother's life.
Yeah.
And by not talking about it, it's almost like you don't get to talk about her.
Yeah. That's true.
But by bringing it to the surface,
Yeah.
you talk about the tragedy.
Yeah.
You talk about what good can come from it, and helping others in similar situations.
Even like you're right. Because like if I wanted to talk about my mum, it'd always have to be in the past tense, and it's quite.
And then the next question is, oh, what happened? Right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And exactly. So quite often it is just
I've
skirt around it.
I've had similar where I've just not mentioned my parents because I don't want to then have to say, oh, actually they died.
Yeah.
You know, but with your story, it's an even stronger like douche with either parent, right? If someone asks about either parent.
Exactly.
Fucking hell. Fucking hell, Adam.
Yeah, I know.
Some stuff going on. So, okay, so it's 12 years later.
Yeah.
Where do you feel like, how do you feel like how are you getting on with what happened 12 years ago? It's kind of the crux of the question I'm looking at.
Yeah, well, I think, maybe I'm finally in that like acceptance stage. Maybe I'm completely wrong with that, but I'm finally getting there. I'm finally talking about it with people. It's no longer hidden. I think some people still maybe don't want to talk to me about it because it's an awkward and uncomfortable conversation, but I think I'm ready to have that conversation with people. You only remember things by talking about it.
Yeah.
So if you don't talk about things, they get forgotten. So I think it is important to talk about it because I think the only people I do talk about it is my grandparents, they always talk about my mum, but also
Your mother's parents.
Yeah. They it sometimes can be quite difficult to talk to them because they're a lot more emotionally sensitive. I don't know a nicer way of putting that.
No, I think it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a generation that weren't generally very open to talking about emotions and stuff, and it was their child. It's a different dynamic.
Yeah, well, exactly. I only had the privilege of knowing my mum for 16 years, and
bizarre,
for most of that, I can't remember it.
Yeah.
So, obviously, she was very important to me, but I don't have the same memories like my grandparents did of 47 years memories of her.
It's a different connection.
Yeah.
It's but no harder or not. Yeah. For a 16-year-old, I mean that's still so young.
Yeah.
Why refuge? What do we know about refuge?
So as I said, refuge is what helps women get out of violent situations, and it's important to have it there and known about because like you'd not heard about refuge before this, I presume.
No,
I mean,
right.
obviously
right.
You're also not a woman, so they wouldn't be able to help you. But I think there's a lot of people out there who don't know about these kind of charities and how important they are, because you can, they have safe houses. So if you do find yourself, if you're a woman and you found yourself in what you thought was a dangerous situation, you can give these people a call and they'll advise you. It might be, maybe they'll send the police out because, like, for example, my dad's behaviour, we'd always say, oh, that's just Martin being Martin. Yeah. If you talk to a third party about it, they'd highlight just how bonkers.
Yeah, Martin's not supposed to be like Martin.
Exactly. And then maybe the police need to call it. Like maybe your partner's or whoever it is has threatened you, and you just think, oh, they've been fine. Yeah. And then you
just catch the flags.
Yeah, they definitely offer advice and help and safe spaces.
And spreading the awareness is equally important for men to know about, because there may be men that know friends with a woman who is on some level asking for help. Yeah. And not all of us are equipped to know what to do in that situation. But if there's a third party charity where you can help them get
Well,
in
yeah,
touch
that's
with.
the thing. Although the services of refuge are that they are for women and their children, anyone can call the helpline. So if, maybe you think you know someone who's a bit off, or maybe someone who needs help,
Yeah.
you can call refuge.
The case of the name, the number, contact them, find out
Yeah.
what the next steps would naturally be. Because you can't advocate for the average person to be a vigilante with an abuser who's potentially dangerous, right?
Yeah.
It's
I
fucking
mean,
scary.
it might just be a case of you've seen someone, you can tell them about refuge.
Exactly.
It might be a bit of an awkward. I think you have to approach it carefully and not force it upon someone. But I think, making awareness of it known, I think, is important. Which is, what I'm doing. And I'm also raising money for them. I think so far in total, from the poppies and butterflies, we're at £6,000 and a bit, I think.
How can people get involved and help?
You make a donation to Refuge, and then there's also my website where you can pay for postage if you need it. Because if it all went to Refuge, then I can't afford postage on how many 500 butterflies or whatever. And if I,
It's got to be sustainable.
if I took all the money, then like PayPal take a cut. It gets complicated financially for me. Basically, I tried to split it, but that has made it confusing.
Yeah, fair.
I think if I do it again, I'm just going to take everything and then give it to
donate.
Refuge.
What lesson learned?
Yeah. The where to pay for the donation is called adamsbutterflies.muchloved.com, I believe. I'll have to check that. And then for the postage, it's susansbutterflies.co.uk. And not too sure how many we've got left. I've got a huge pile of them and I've not posted any of them just yet.
Do you have like a timeline that that it's open for people
until the last one has gone?
Right.
Basically.
Super cool.
Yeah.
I think it's amazing that you're doing it, man. Like, not just as like a hat tilt to your mother, but also the sharing, like spreading awareness for other people.
Yeah. And I think the generosity that I've received from people is overwhelming.
Yeah.
It's just not just in the sense of donations for the butterflies, but I didn't make them on my own. Butterflies themselves were laser cut, and my laser cutters didn't charge me for the time, just materials. And then the materials were paid for by Woodsmith, which is just down the road from here. Izzy there donated to pay for materials. And then I conscripted a whole load of my friends to make them with me. So people have been very generous with the time. And I even got my local Tesco on board. They gave me some vouchers to buy food for everyone who was there. So
that's so cool.
Yeah.
It's the ripple effect of something that comes from an idea.
Yeah.
And then you actually create it, make it happen, and then it has a ripple effect and it resonates with people.
Yeah.
It kind of injects a little bit of hope back into humanity, right?
Yeah, this was something that was a bit lacking the first time because, as I said, I thought, I've got this idea. So I just chatted with 4 of my friends, and 3 of them, sorry. And I was like, would you be up for doing this thing? And they're like, yeah, sure. And then, once we published it, it went huge. Yeah. So this time I've been like, all right, let's preempt that. So I've got more people on board, and it's been bigger this time, which is...
I know it might be a bit premature, but do you envision, like, in the future, like... Because with each time you do it again, like changing the structure of how you do things, and you've got now a network of people that are supportive.
I think I would like to do it again because, especially making them is a total different situation to working for yourself. It's having lots of people there in your workshop, all working collaboratively, and you're not working for your profit. You're working for like a common good, really. That definitely inspired me to, I don't know, work harder or work more. It's like the working day was like 9. I think we put hammers down at 6 p.m. So it was a long day. Yeah. But like normally we'd like, oh, it's 3 p.m. Let's go to the pub or whatever. But it's like, yeah, we've got these butterflies to forge out. Let's do it. And yeah, it was a really full day. And I think just having everyone there, it was really fun.
How did it work logistically? Did you make all of these in one day? Did you have to organize a team to get together to make them?
Yeah. So
and tell me again how many were made in what time frame?
So you can see that this shape was already, it was laser cut flat out of 2mm, and then we organised a Saturday where everyone came, and each one was hand textured by hand and like made into the shape and then welded onto the stalk.
How many people did you have in the? Was that at yours?
Yeah. People came and went, but I think we had about 10. So it was the most people I've ever had there, and it's definitely the biggest team I've ever worked in. And it was, it's quite almost in a way a bit like sweatshopping, as in like, it was, everyone had a job to do, and there was definitely a process. As I said, we had 500 made, so like all of these stems were textured, for example. So 2 people were standing at my power hammers, putting these through. So on average you put 250 each, which is, it's a lot.
How long would one take to make from beginning to end, say on your own?
Well, I think the butterflies maybe on average took maybe 3 heats to do. Some people did it faster, some did it slower, which maybe each heat, by heat I mean taking it out the forge and it has heat. Each one of those maybe takes 3 or 4 minutes. So you're talking maybe 10 minutes to forge a butterfly, and then texturing the stem. So let's say maybe 15 minutes. Because we're also wire brushed and heat treated to get a nice black effect to them, or in this case a bit of a bronzy effect. So they look simple, but quite a bit of work went into them to. I don't mean simple in a derogative way.
No.
I think there's more to them that meets the eye. Or more
it's quite beautiful because they're each individual. Do you know what I mean? What do you find? Are people buying these for ornamental purposes?
I was talking to one lady recently who bought one to put on her mum's grave, actually.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
That's fucking beautiful, man.
Yeah. Which was...
Talk about a circle, right?
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Jesus.
And I think it just goes to show how it's not just meaningful to me. I think it goes to show how the impact that it's had on people and what it means to them. And I didn't really quite know what to say to her in that moment.
There's lots of layers to that.
Yeah, but it was incredibly touching.
Bless her for sharing that with you.
Yeah, and it's quite an honour, really.
That in itself is a testament to how people can feel the what's behind it.
Yeah,
it resonates.
With people. I think that's most of it. Yeah, subjectively, it's the metal butterfly on a stick, but the symbolism behind it is
it's a lot more.
There's a lot to as you said, unpack about it, and
So for the next edition, when you do this, maybe in 2 years, 3 years, who knows?
Who knows? Yeah.
You've done poppies, done butterflies. What?
Well, I have been thinking about this.
I thought you might.
Cogs has definitely been wearing, and I'm thinking about labeling it like Susan's Garden or something, and making a whole garden worth of flowers. Yeah. So I'm thinking of what flowers could I do next?
Okay.
I mean, that is definitely getting very ambitious. Like maybe I wore everyone out. Maybe they don't want to come back. But as I said, I think.
Yeah, I've got a feeling
I fed
you'll
them.
have more interest than
ever.
ever.
Fun day. I think I might want to. I want to do it again. So yeah.
Mate, I think it's amazing, and I think and it's moving. and it's real. It's some real life stuff right there.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming this day and talking to me about this.
Thank you for having
been
me.
Nice. It's been really nice. And for anyone who's watching this and wants to donate, get involved, follow Adam on the socials. All the links are in the description below. And I'll see you at the next one. Cheers, Adam.
Thank you.
Boom.